Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, college football edition. Today, we're going to be having a podcast we wouldn't think we'd have maybe in a long, long time. But we're going to be talking about a Buckeye loss to the Michigan Wolverines. That's right. The Buckeyes lost to the Michigan Wolverines in a shocking 42-27 defeat up there at Ann Arbor. When we break the game down, it's not as shocking as you would think if you've watched this team all year. We got the captain with us, Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today?
I'm doing much better than I was Saturday. That is for damn sure.
We also got our main man, Mr. Cedric Ware, hopping on for this Buckeye pod. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. Can't complain.
Byron, Cedric, let's just get right into the game. Ohio State went up to Ann Arbor this Saturday and lost 42-27. Byron, I'm gonna let you go first. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I want to start with the positives because you should always start with the positives. Offensively, we did have some struggles, but CJ Stroud ended up having 34 for 49 for 394 yards, 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Trevion Anderson had 17 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. Mike Williams, 7 carries for 20 yards, no touchdown. Smith and Jigba, 11 for 127 yards, 0 touchdowns, but he had a couple amazing catches. So did Garrett Wilson, 10 for 119 yards and a touchdown. He had that beautiful first touchdown, our first touchdown of the game. And then Chris Olave went 7 for 88. No touchdowns, but he also had some amazing catches. That's the positive from Ohio State. Michigan came to play. They pretty much beat us for 4 straight quarters. Kate McNamara, 13 for 19 for 159 yards, 0 touchdowns and an interception. Hassan Haskins, 28 carries, 169 yards, 5 touchdowns. Blake Corum has 6 for 67. And then their other running back had one carry for 14 yards and a touchdown. And their defense ended up having 4 sacks, a lot of tackle for losses, which our defense had 0 tackle for losses and 0 sacks.
Cedric, you want to add anything statistically before we dissect this game?
Just like one thing. To go with their defense is 4 sacks. CJ Stroud had negative 30 rushing yards. So it's no surprise that, he was out there not just getting sacked, but we were getting smacked off the line.
Oh, Cedric, I'll start with you. What the hell happened?
Well, our defense showed back up from like week 1 and 2. I mean, they ran. They literally, our defensive front line got no push, couldn't stop the run. Like Michigan, like Hassan Haskins is a good running back. I don't know if he's better than the grown-ass man Walker II in Michigan State, but he ripped off yards. Like, I mean, 169 rushing yards off of 28 carries and 5 touchdowns was insane. Like, I really thought I was watching us play Oregon kind of again, and kind of like Minnesota before Ibrahim got hurt. But it was just bad. Like, we had no push on the line. They, like, almost every bad running play where he may have made a bad read on the hole, he still had like positive yards off of. So it was not good for us. And their defensive line was nasty that game. I don't know what type of communication was going on. It's just like no looks there. But it didn't seem like Stroud was holding on to the ball super long. I mean, there was maybe like a few plays here and there, but nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, he still had a solid game. He didn't have any turnovers, didn't throw any picks. So a lot of it just came down to us not being able to stop the run and Hassan running up and down the field on us.
Byron, what do you got?
basically same thing that Cedric said. Offensively, I'll add this: our offensive line was not getting the push they needed. They had a lot of false starts, which is very unusual for the Ohio State line. So in their trenches, we offensively and defensively, weren't in sync with one another. We couldn't get on our defensive line. We couldn't get a push on their offensive line, so their offensive line showed up. They just had a game plan and they executed it perfectly. They established a run early and just kept running it down our throats for 4 quarters. They ended up with 41 carries, 297 yards, and 6 touchdowns, and that's all rushing. Like, they didn't have one passing touchdown the whole entire game. All their touchdowns were off of rushing. And you would think, after maybe 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns, you would, hone in on the running backs, but our defense, coaches did not, or I don't know what was going on defensively, but we definitely looked like the defense that we had the first 3 weeks of the season.
Man, I was just looking. We had 10 penalties. We also had the ball more than them.
Yes, we did. We if you would just tell someone casually on the street that Ohio State committed no turnovers, they had 458 total yards, had more possession, 31.48 to Michigan's 28.12, 23 first downs, you would think OSU stopped Michigan.
You would think.
But they didn't. I think also the craziest stat is, I know we all watched the game together. I mean, I wasn't nervous at halftime because it was 13-14. And I was like, oh, Ohio State, they're going to get a couple quick scores. Michigan's not going to be able to catch up. When Michigan got the ball the second half, they scored on every possession.
Yep.
I think that's something that they scored on every possession that they had the ball. They scored 4. The key to the game was the third quarter. Ohio State had 0 points. Michigan had 14.
Didn't kick a single field goal the entire game.
Nope. And Cedric, you're right with Haskins. He's okay. He's not Kenneth Walker. He's not going to be in New York for an Heisman, anything like that. And now we etched him into the lore of the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry with 5 freaking touchdowns. 5.
Didn't he tie? No, he broke their school record.
Yeah, for the most
for rushing touchdowns. He didn't get like total touchdowns because I think Denard Robinson had 5 too.
Yeah. So, you're right, because this game was, if you watch the team all year, it was looking like they reverted back to what Oregon did to them. Even what Tulsa was doing to them, Nebraska, they ran that ball, they bullied that line, and we couldn't get anything. Like, we couldn't even get to the quarterback. He wasn't sacked.
No.
I mean, they only threw the ball 19 times, and that amazes me. But I guess the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I mean, it was out here just they're like, why throw the ball? We can just run it.
I mean, like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, they were running on us the entire game, and we never adjusted.
It was they're a run-heavy team. I'll give them that. Like, they're a run-heavy team, but like normally that's why they lose, or that's why they lost one game. Like, or they have close games because if their run game ain't going off. I don't know. I was really looking forward to the game. I thought we had. Like, I was honestly thinking like, hey, after what we did with Michigan State, I'm not so worried about Michigan. Like, it'll be a good game because their defense is good, but that's about it.
So 2 things with the Michigan State thing, because I said this last week. Michigan State should have took the ball first, tried to score on their first possession, give their team confidence. What did Michigan do? Got the ball first, scored, gave their team confidence. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And also, Abdul Hutchinson, not Aiden Hutchinson, I'm sorry. He had 11 tackles. He was terrorizing us all day. It only makes me fear if Kavion would have played at Oregon against us.
Oh, he probably would have the same stat.
DJ Stroud might have been knocked out for the season.
He might have.
Well, I will give it this, because that dude, Oregon's guy's a linebacker, right?
Yes.
I mean, Hutchinson plays on the line. He's a good DN. Like, him was a force. And that was before the other guy, I forget number 55, the other guy who's good. He started turning up a little bit near the end of the game. But 97, dude, that Hutchins is nasty.
It was terrible. It was sight to see. They win, they storm the field. And we're not in the Big Ten championship first time in 5 years. We're not going to the Big Ten championship. Now we're gonna wait what bowl will be in. And it was something to see because with the OSU fan base, some people are trying to blame CJ, which is crazy. Like that game was not his fault at all.
He almost threw for 400 yards.
Right. I'm just saying, like that was a whole defensive
meltdown.
A meltdown defensively. Like we haven't. But then again, we've been saying on this pod that like is our defense really improving? Because we were having that spin where you're getting the pick sixes against inferior teams. Mm-hmm. But when we play teams with close to our talent, we struggle. But then Michigan State, we just blitzed them out the wazoo. We were feeling good. And then Michigan's like, we're just going to muddy. Well, they didn't even muddy it up. They snowed it up because it was snowing up there.
Yeah.
And like Cedric, you made the point too, where you're talking, was this CJ Stroud's first time playing in snow?
Yeah. He's from Cali. He's a Cali boy.
That's true.
Which, honestly, all things considered, like, granted, I mean, like, I don't know how big the schedules is as far as traveling. If you're in a really good program in a state and you may play like a team out of state. I know like the Herb Street Classic was a big thing for like Ohio high schools playing out of state competitions. But that's at the beginning of the season. Ain't nobody playing in December doing that. Like that's playoff mode for most high school programs. So chance of him playing in snow before getting to Ohio State, no. Like
it's crazy to think about. So now we're sitting here. Michigan's going to the Big Ten championship game. I know everyone's seen what stuff they've been saying on Twitter and stuff about changes and all of that. Byron, what do you want changed going into the offseason?
I said this last year. I'll say it again. We need new defensive coordinators. Like the ones we have are just not getting it done. Like we got embarrassed against Michigan. We got embarrassed against Oregon. We got embarrassed against Alabama. So we need a lot of defensive changes in the offseason. Like, I don't know if that needs like position realignments or just cleaning house and getting new people. I don't know what that means, but we need some big defensive changes.
When's the last? I was thinking about the defense too, and I know past couple of years we've been the Bosa's and Chase Young defensive line, but where are the linebackers at?
I think the last one I remember like being really goes like Shazier. Yeah. We had a couple like through the years, like one every now and then, but like nothing like a dominant force like we used to have.
Correct. Like, yeah, if you want to go like, yeah, there's Shazier, who obviously went to the league. Obviously, the old days, there were AJ Hogg, Bobby Carpenter, Schlegel, Laurinaitis. But now recently, our linebacker thing has not been stellar at all. The corners who we were trying to talk about were DBU, but
Sean Wade ruined that. What?
And then like it's just I didn't think our line was this soft. I didn't think our defense was this soft. They got bullied.
I mean, it's like a trend. Like we used to have like great defensive backs, start to like tear down a little bit. Great linebackers start to tear down a little bit. We were coming off like honestly. I mean, even with Chase Young just by himself, like amazing history, like just like amazing defensive line of just like phenoms, just like everyone left and right. And it's like now it's like, well, so this is what it's like to be, I guess, like okay, like you're still five-star recruits and everything, but you're not like those guys. Like ain't none of those like no offense to them. I know you work hard, but I don't see any of y'all going in the first round. Agreed. Of a draft. Like, so it is what it is. Like,
So Byron, you would want Kerry Codes out.
I mean, I say he should have been out last year. They was like, oh no, we'll keep him another year. I'm like, all right. So yes, I want Kerry Coombs gone.
He be coming for his job. I remember we were sitting there. I was like, wait, is Kerry Coombs the one calling this game?
That was terrible.
Who's calling the play on the defense? And Byron's face, man.
I said that, and then lo and behold, I saw some other people on Twitter asking the same thing. Like, is Kerry Coombs coaching this? Like, what's going on?
They let him out the box. Like, took him out of timeout. Like, listen, man, we've been winning a little bit. We come out of timeout. Come down on the side. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah. I don't, man. Because like Cedric said, you're coming for his job, but do we get rid of him now, or do we wait a year? Or
why would we wait another year?
I don't know how close the guy is to his pension, Byron. Like, you know, it's still a governmental job. You coach for
sure.
OSU.
Let's give him another year. Why not?
I mean, we ain't sitting there saying he has to run the defense. He's employed.
Yeah, he can stay employed. Just don't touch.
Okay, Byron. If you want to hire, so you want a defensive, who are you going to go hire? Who do you want to hire? I mean, I know who I would want, but
I know you want the guy from Notre Dame. Used to coach at.
Used to coach here, Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman. I mean, let's get Marcus Freeman if he doesn't get the bad job coaching job at Notre Dame.
How much you willing to pay?
Whatever.
You gotta. He's
whatever Kerry Coombs makes. Plus, like, let me look at how much Kerry Coombs makes.
I thought you was gonna say double. I was about to say stop.
I wasn't gonna say double it.
Clemson plays their defensive coordinator $2 million.
How much Dabo makes?
Well, Dabo, he makes some money now. But Brent Venables might be going to go, which we'll talk about later. He's a head coaching candidate for the Oklahoma job.
Yeah, they should bring back Stoops. I like that he's coming back to coach one game.
Kerry Coombs make $1.4 million.
Oh, whoa! That means
if you think about it, that makes kind of sense. How much money does Ryan Day make?
I think 4.
Damn! So you got to pay Marcus Freeman at least 2 to 3. You paying
for better defense? Yes.
Okay.
Where are we getting this money?
I would say we need to start. I'm tired of seeing the Twitter updates about 5-star recruits on offense. Can we get some 5-star recruits on defense, please? It's been a minute. Who actually produce something. But let's talk about the other thing, man, because we haven't lost to Michigan in 10 years. And then you finally see, we already knew some of them were crazy. But God, we have some crazy Ohio State fans. Fire Ryan Day on Twitter. Are these people idiots?
Yes.
Yes.
Simple, yes.
And a short answer, yes.
Someone said, man, we were with some of them. And they're man, Ryan Day chokes the big games like Urban. I'm like, huh? Where is this coming from?
You know, I'll say this. That just shows, like, I guess how unappreciative we've been in these last 5 years with some of these fans.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because if you really think about it, Jim Harbaugh literally was 0 for 5 out here. He was getting his ass stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And some Michigan fans are you know what? He's the best thing that still has happened to our program because we were fucking up out here. Other coaches didn't know what they were doing with recruits. At least he recruits good people. And they weren't even sending crazy amount of people to the league like that for them to say it. But shoot, he finally got his one. That's the one thing I will give him. Those fans stayed faithful to him, and they got their one. And now that man will die a Wolverine coach. That's what's going to happen. He's going to be the Joe Pa of Michigan.
Oh, I believe it. They said they got tired of eating out the trash can. They said they were fed up.
You could tell that they really
they were
released some anger during that game.
And it was in Ann Arbor.
Yeah. Sure. Which is crazy because if you looked at the stands, it was mostly red.
Well, that's also the fact that last year's game didn't happen. So that's why you saw all the red because motherfuckers was hey, we were supposed to be out here. What the hell?
Yeah.
Hey, Byron, we got to talk about he was serious. He said, we're going to beat Ohio State or die trying. He really meant it.
Yep. At the beginning of the season, he said, we're going to beat our rivals or die trying. He didn't beat Michigan State. He said, all right. that's okay. I still got Ohio State. I'm gonna throw everything at him. And he did.
And yeah, basically, if we lose this, I'm not coming back to my office. I'm leaving. Like it sat there. I was like, dang, are y'all gonna fight back?
No. Like our offense was trying, but the defense is like, nah, we're just gonna open up this hole for you real quick.
It's like, man, we trying to like Harbaugh stay.
Like I just thought it was crazy. They're like, oh yeah, we need a new whole coaching staff. I'm like, the thing is like, so who you gonna hire?
That's the thing. Like they're all willing to ask for like new stuff, but they don't want to know what the replacements are like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I was so curious. Like, so Ryan Day is 33-4. And I can tell you his 4 losses: Michigan, Clemson, Oregon, Alabama.
I mean, those are top programs.
I mean, at the time that we lost, they were all top 5 programs.
Alabama, national championship. The Clemson game, which we should not have freaking lost. That was robbery on robbery on robbery. And that was a fumble. No, it wasn't a football move. Sean Wade gets ejected for everything. Just went bad for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon and Michigan, we just got bullied.
You got bullied. I will say this.
Ryan Day's first Big Ten loss, and people want him gone. Crazy.
I will say this in regards to you brought up the Clemson game. Those Michigan refs were on some bullshit. There were a lot of defensive pass interference on Michigan that was not called. There was a ton of holds that was not called. Now, I'm not going to say I want their jobs, but they should get punted. They should get fined for that horrible officiating.
I will say this: that one, the main ref, the umpire, my dude, anytime he was calling the penalty, he looked like he was in fear of his life. I think he was in distress. I honestly think someone came up to him before the game and was like, listen here. It's like, if you call more than 4 or 5 penalties on Michigan, I'm going to see you outside. And we going to jail your ass out here. Because my man looked like he was like scared to be calling like holding on the Wolverines, pass interference on the Wolverines. I was like, oh, sorry, brother. Like, someone will save you.
They literally only called 2 penalties against Michigan.
That was wild.
I know one of them was a defensive pass interference, like in the 4th quarter. I forgot
which was obvious. Like, dude, literally, Wilson's jersey was over his shoulder pad.
It's crazy. I also think it's crazy too how people talk about the play calling. Yeah, there were some times I had issues with the plays, but then as where we were at, some people were like, man, throw it, CJ, keep throwing it more. Don't forget the run. We got the 3 best wide receivers in the country. I'm like, well, if he starts dropping back all the time, and then when Hutchinson comes at him and smacks him, and then he throws a pick, y'all gonna be like, man, why did CJ keep throwing the ball? We should have been running it more.
He came close 1 or 2 times, but it worked out.
I mean, he did have a rushing touchdown was called back because of
the holding. Wow, the one time he scrambles,
to be fair, that defense literally just like said, like, what are you doing? Like, you know, this is going back there, right? Like, it's like we ain't gonna tackle this, man.
It was so bad that on that play, the defense knew, it's like, y'all know y'all can't stop us without holding, so we already know this is getting called back. Because y'all didn't hold us, CJ would have been 15 yards backwards.
There
was one player who was like pointing back, like, it's going back. Y'all going back. Like, just walk with us.
It's crazy. Like, I was just like, yeah, Buckeye fans, calm down. Now, at least we went 10-2 regular season wise. So now we got some things to work on, which means they're going to be working hard in that off season. I better see only defensive clips. I don't need to see CJ throwing the ball.
You know, you want to see CJ throwing the ball.
I know.
Right.
You know, it's great. This is my problem with Michigan now, too. Because obviously Harbaugh's talking now. Okay, you won. So we'll see you next year in Columbus. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be crazy in Columbus. But it's the fact that Michigan, and for the people who wanted Michigan to be like super good, now you feel pain. Michigan ended our chance to go to the Big Ten championship. Probably ended our chance to go to the playoffs. Ended CJ Stroud's Heisman campaign. Y'all wanted, I was cool with Michigan being decent, but y'all wanted you wanted to feel pain again. There you go. Some of our people in our own messages, you know who you are. You wanted pain again. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mean, for one, I didn't want this.
I just wanted us to win. I'm just saying, like, we had to win out. Like, whether Michigan was good or not didn't matter. We had to win out. Like,
correct.
Like, at the point when they started release those rankings, like, you can't lose a game. Not us, at least. Like we ain't an SEC school. We ain't got like 7-8 chances at like ranked teams like that. Like,
perfect segue, Cedric, to the playoff rankings that came out. Georgia, number 1, finished 12-0 regular season. Michigan jumps all the way to number 2 Michigan, number 2 in the country at 11-1. Alabama, 11-1. They should be 10-2. Auburn, you're terrible.
Honestly, it should be 9-3, but no one's talking like that. Like,
but I'm gonna go 10. Auburn, you're terrible. You should have finished that game off. And Cincinnati at 4, they finished 12-0. Cincinnati and Georgia, the only teams to finish the regular season 12-0. Number 5, Oklahoma State, 11-1. Number 6, Notre Dame, 11-1. Buckeyes, 10-2. Mississippi, 10-2 at number 8. Baylor, 10-2 at 9. Oregon, 10-2 at 10. So we're going into championship weekend this weekend. Georgia plays Alabama. Michigan is playing, where's Iowa? Number 13, Iowa. Cincinnati is playing Houston, number 21, who's 11-1. Oh, Jesus. And Oklahoma State is playing 10-2 Baylor. So, Byron, what do you want to happen? Because we're going to have to probably actually talk sometime Sunday because that'll be the final rankings. What do you want to happen?
Everything has changed since Ohio State is off. I still want Georgia to beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Just to let some more teams outside the SEC in the playoffs. I'm going to root for Michigan because only chance for the Big Ten to be in the playoffs. So go blue. Of course, I want Cincinnati to win.
Yes.
And I guess if Notre Dame makes it, yeah, I guess.
Well, Oklahoma State, if they beat Baylor, they're probably going to be in.
That's true. Or Oklahoma State, either or Notre Dame or Oklahoma State, that's fine.
Are any of y'all buying into the? That's why I hate Ohio State fans sometimes. Oh, if all these people still lose, we could still get in. Ain't no effing way.
No, that's 2 losses.
Right. We're not Alabama.
That I know. If Alabama loses, they put them in over us.
I mean, yeah, they're going to be ranked above us. I bet you. Because they don't, like, in the argument, they lost to the number 1 team in the nation.
Oh no, Alabama's they are crazy. They're like, man. I saw some OSU fans saying if Michigan, Patrick was one of them. If Michigan loses, Alabama loses, Cincinnati loses, can we get in? I'm like, how? You gotta have to explain that to me. Because Oklahoma and Notre Dame will go. We ain't gonna be ranked ahead of Alabama. You crazy?
Right. Will be their second loss of the season
to Georgia. I mean, the only team Georgia's 100% in, no matter what.
Yeah. Yep. Even if they lose to Alabama, they're still
they'll be 1 or 4.
Yeah, which I don't want them to lose to Alabama. I don't want that on my conscience, man. Just knock Bama out. Take them out. But this is real. Look at these rankings. I'm like, this wild. I don't even know because we don't even play this week. Oregon gets revenge. If Oregon gets revenge on Utah and wins the Pac-12 championship, they have 2 losses. They'll probably jump us.
Probably because of the head-to-head win.
Baylor would jump us if they win that big 12. They're right behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all, they crazy. Ain't no way. You need everyone to you need everyone to forfeit and not show up.
Even if we did make the playoffs by some magical way, I don't know if I want us in there with our defense.
I have now seen with our offensive and defensive lines. I do not. All that talk about playing Georgia, not anymore. No, I don't want to play that Georgia defense. No, they're only giving up 6 points a game.
Right.
Which Cedric
That's why
here.
I can't wait for them to play Alabama because that's gonna be a good game.
Saturday. Well, if Notre Dame makes it in, they don't even have a coach. So let's talk about this crazy shit that happened. So first, let's start off with the one I'm actually kind of mad at. I'm not mad, but
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, let's start off with Lincoln. Cedric, you were with me. We were watching Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. You went to sleep. I sat there and watched the whole game. Dude said, they asked him, he's like, "Are you going to LSU?" He straight up said, "I ain't going to LSU." Saturday night. That game ended at 11:45 p.m. 11:45 p.m. You come in Sunday. Lincoln Riley takes the USC job. Huh? What? In his defense, they didn't ask the right question. They didn't ask him about USC, but everyone thought he was going to LSU. He said, "I ain't taking that job." But then this man, at nighttime after the game, accepted that. That's wild. That's unbelievable.
I bet he was happy for that question. Are you going? When he heard, "Are you going?" At first, his heart was pounding fast, and they're like, LSU was like, "Ooh, nah, I ain't going to LSU." He's like, "I ain't gonna tell no lie to y'all. I'm not going to Louisiana."
This man really, he was even talking to, he's like, "Yeah, it was tough to make that decision after just coming off that game. The game you played 15 minutes ago."
I feel like this had to have been a done deal. Like, I feel like either way, if they had
offered it for sure. He had to have been offered it before. Like, they ain't gonna call you right after the game. "Yo, we saw you just lost. You want this job?"
Right. I feel like either way, if Oklahoma had won, I feel like he still would have said, "Yeah, I'm taking that USC job."
Oklahoma would have won. They could have been in the playoffs.
They could have.
No, he would have still took the job. He just wouldn't have said anything until after the playoffs.
Right.
That's wild stuff. Like, this is crazy. And it's the fact
he didn't want no smoke.
One, he didn't want to go to the SEC. That's just fact. He did not want to go against Nick Saban every year. That's fact. So
he didn't want no smoke.
Oklahoma, y'all didn't talk to your coach about going to the SEC? Obviously not, because he said, "Y'all going to the SEC. I'm going to California."
Go to the Pac-12.
I mean, he did straight swerve them because it's like coaching job in the SEC. Oh.
And three, it's not the fact that Lincoln went. Lincoln Riley took his whole staff.
That's love, though.
That is love. But Oklahoma has no staff. Like, that is wild.
That's love, though. Like, that's real. And that may be the reason. Maybe that was a nail biter. Maybe Lincoln Riley said, "You know what? The only way I'm coming to South Carolina is if my crew comes with me." And maybe USC was like, "I don't know. I don't know." And then they called him like, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, bring your boys. We got room for all of y'all."
And Byron, you have up his rumored contract?
I heard about that. USC is going to pay for his houses in Oklahoma and his house in California, which is wild to me.
And he gets the private jet access whenever he wants.
I mean, it don't surprise me too much. People were paying for their kids to go to that school off false SAT scores and shit. I don't think they're afraid to spend some money.
Like, that contract, if it's truly real, that's going to be the wildest thing I've ever seen. Talk about, "Oh, yeah, you buying our house here, our house there. We get the jet."
That is so wild, bro. USC said, "All right, if that's what it takes."
The house in Oklahoma ain't even the one I'm worried about. It's the fact that this man is not going to buy no smaller house in California. His man going to try to live lavish. He going to Cali with his whole squad.
Here's the rumor. The rumor was $110 million.
God damn.
USC buy both his homes in Norman for $500,000 over the asking price. So he would get $1 million bonus in that. And then they are mandatory to buy Lincoln Riley a $6 million home in LA and unlimited use of the private jet 24/7 for the family Bro, that shit can't be real.
Hold on. All of that is on top of the $110 million?
Yes.
Yes.
Man, this
It
we gonna
can't
see
be
Lincoln.
real, bro.
Listen,
I can't
Lincoln
accept
probably gonna
that.
be in the news. Lincoln probably gonna be in the news. Just give it a year. Like, this man ain't gonna survive with all that. This man gonna fuck up. Him or his family gonna be out here partying on the private jet. Some crazy ass shit gonna happen. He gonna get caught up in the life because he living like a celebrity. He true Hollywood now. That's look.
You imagine, like, if you like, I agree with y'all. It was in the works, but he shouldn't have announced that game. But he was like, "Yeah, y'all gotta buy me a $6 million house, not just a house, a $6 million house."
Yeah, there's no
minimum.
way that was the last minute. That was planned.
Right.
They said buy him pay $500,000 above the asking price. Man, if I was trying to buy something, I'd try to buy Lincoln Riley's house right now. Like, oh, you mean to me you're gonna give me $500,000 more than what I'm asking for? Oh, run that.
Right.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And the fact too, he announced it Sunday. He was on the jet Monday. Didn't even say goodbye to his team.
That is so
We gotta
disrespectful.
Bruh, he making $110 million. He's $6 million on top of that for the house. $500,000 on his house. And he get the private jet whenever he wants. The private jet pick him up.
Yep. Him and the
Yeah.
family.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. You ain't saying that about nobody. Listen, the best you may get is a Zoom call. He may Zoom y'all.
Well, Isaiah Thomas,
California.
Isaiah Thomas, a defensive player at Oklahoma, where USC football tweeted a quote from Lincoln Riley on Kyle and Cowhurst today. He's like, "This is gonna be the mecca of college football." Isaiah Thomas said, "Yeah, he told us that last week. You saw what he did to us. He left."
Like, my man Lincoln really hopping on the plane, just like,
Bro, that's crazy. Like, I thought that was wild. And then it's even wilder because Oklahoma has no staff. So they had to go to retired Bob Stoops to come coach their bowl game.
That is.
And he's still doing big noon kickoff this Saturday. So he's going to be like, he's going to have to bring his old.
I wonder if they're going to talk about it, because I know they're going to ask Bob about it.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're going to ask Bob about it. I wonder if Bob's going to talk shit, because that's his chance. Because Lincoln gone.
That was his protege.
I was like, I'm on the newscast. It don't matter what the fuck I say. Lincoln, you ain't going to say shit to me. Like, we could throw this. He's like, I could throw some salt.
Like, this is, and then you want to talk about crazy stuff. We thought that was cool. Notre Dame talked about, Brian Kelly said he was not leaving for Notre Dame for LSU unless they paid him $200 million. This is an article from Sports Illustrated, November 20th, 2021, 10 days ago. Brian Kelly will return to Notre Dame next season despite speculation. This was all reported. Yesterday, he said, "Oh no, I ain't coming back. I'm going to LSU out of nowhere for $95 million.
$95 million.
But there's incentives. So and Notre Dame can get into the playoffs."
Brian Kelly is wild, bro. Because remember he did this at USC. UC.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're about to make a bowl game and he dipped and said, "Oh, y'all can coach your own bowl games."
Look, man, it's Advent, man. That's all it is. He ain't trying to go to all the masses no more.
Brian Kelly's going to go out there, man, you go to LSU to coach against Saban. First of all, this ain't Indiana, Mass. Brian Kelly, I don't know if your stomach good enough to eat that gumbo. You're going to Louisiana. You're going to have to eat that Southern cooking.
I don't know, though. My man was threatening to kill kids, so I think he good. I think he built right for the SEC. Thought he was going to kill these boys. I was like, damn, dog, it's like the third game of the week of the season. What you doing?
It's the fact, too. He came back today, met with the team for 11 minutes, then left. And then went to LSU. Bro, the fact that these coaches just left and they were recruiting kids. Now the kids are like, damn, you ain't going to that school? All right. F that school. I'm coming with y'all.
That's crazy to me.
This man, Brian Kelly, had the nerve to send that text. Man, I didn't want y'all to find out through the media. Bro, it's 2021. If you didn't want them to find out through the media, you could have told them first.
Yeah, he definitely should have told his players first instead of texting them after the fact.
And these niggas been watching All American. That's fine.
Like, this is
what are they acting out
crazy.
here? Coaches leaving left and right. They've been watching All American. Shout out to our guy Adam, man. I haven't gotten to the episode yet, but I know you in there somewhere.
Like, they really said this man was going to be back in Notre Dame 10 days ago. They are number 6 in the college football playoffs. If Cincinnati and Alabama, if two of these 3 teams lose, Notre Dame is going to be in the playoffs.
Yes.
And he said, nah, I'm out. And if Notre Dame won the national championship, he's like, y'all going to run me my ring?
No.
I would have been like, oh, nah, bro.
Were you here for the full season? No, you good.
But Oklahoma, I don't feel bad for Oklahoma because, like the people said on Twitter, they're like, man, we wish we would have gotten noticed. We didn't know he was leaving. I was like, damn. Just like y'all just snuck out to the SEC, like y'all did the conference. Y'all never should have went. L7C told y'all don't go there just for money. Now you have no coach. Now you about to have no players. And you about to go there and be the next freaking Arkansas Pooh version.
I wonder if Spencer Rattler's going to go to USC.
They just got a 5-star quarterback commit today.
Oh, well. Sorry, Spencer. I don't know where you're going.
Spencer Rattler could go to Penn State.
He could.
Who Penn State just lost their defensive coordinator. He's going to be the coach of Virginia Tech.
I saw that.
Oklahoma can't hire Mark Stoops, the younger brother of Bob. Kentucky just gave him an extension.
Yep.
If Spencer ain't going to USC, Lincoln left because of Spencer. Shit. He was like, nigga, you were supposed to be the Mecca. You out here fucking up. We gotta go.
That's crazy. Like
Heisman favorite at the beginning of the year, now in the transfer portal. What a year for Spencer Rattler.
He was. Shout out to Evan Debo. He was right about Spencer from the beginning of the year. He never liked him.
Yeah.
But I don't know who coaches at Oklahoma now. I don't know who coaches at Notre Dame. Cincinnati. I mean, obviously Notre Dame's showing up to Luke Fickell's house as we speak.
Spencer Rattler is like that Dr. Pepper commercial I saw when one dude Rico was going to the transfer portal.
You guys need a kicker? No, I got Dr. Pepper.
Oh man, like it's crazy. I can't wait to see Championship Saturday because we'll be back to talk about the final rankings, and then the next Buckeye pod will be after we do the rankings of the playoffs. Because they'll also announce the New Year's Six Bowl, which we could be in the New Year. To be honest, we might have a rematch with Oregon.
We could go to the Rose Bowl.
I don't know. I don't know if I want that though. Because dude's healthy now.
That's true.
That's true. And shoot, like, it's a lot to be said, man. So we'll be back. We'll figure it out. We got to talk about those final rankings on Sunday. It's weird because every year in the group message, we talk about if Ohio State's in, and when we're not in, some of us just tell the truth, like, yeah, bro, we ain't making it in. And others like, oh, we won the Big Ten title. I was like, bro, our name don't start with an A and don't end in a Bama. Get it right.
Man, what it's like to be an Alabama fan, knowing you're going to get in the playoffs every year.
As long as you do what you need to do, and don't lose like 3 times.
Does Nick Saban have access to their private jet whenever he wants?
That's actually a good question.
I don't know what his contract's like, because Lincoln Riley, you cool, but you ain't Nick Saban cool. Like, so if I'm Nick Saban, I see this nigga Lincoln Riley out here, people buying his houses. I'm like, hold on a minute now. I start looking at those Bama trustees, like, hold on a minute now. Y'all better recognize some things up in here.
Bro, it's a fact. It said him and his family members have 24 access.
Right.
How old is his kids?
Oh, that's a good.
Because that's the worry right there. Good old Alpha Sigma need to start some risk management planning right there. Because I'll tell you right now, if his kids are illegal drinking age, oh dear God.
Right.
I already know that wife. That wife's about to act out in L.A. It's different.
Shit, he may be the new Urban. I'm not gonna lie. He may be the new Urban. He may get caught.
Oh, no.
Hey, Urban Meyer said he didn't want no college coaching job. Then 30 minutes later, report shows Urban's looking at college jobs.
You just can't trust head coaches who say, I'm not doing it.
I mean, Urban misses college. You saw he was getting twerked at his
Oh,
restaurant.
no.
Back where he's the man.
Bro, it's a fact. Mike Tomlin said there ain't no check big enough for no booster to get me to go to college. Well, you didn't know they were offering the private jet. I wonder if he would have changed his mind. And they buy your houses?
Exactly. I was saying, and they buying houses.
Right. Over the asking price.
Your contract. Like, you making $110 million. That's all for the money. That's for you to do your regular job. But we giving you a check. We buying your house. And we buying your new house. And it's a $6 million minimum house. I know the housing market probably ain't great in LA or in California in general. But $6 million is a lot of fucking money.
Yes.
Minimum. I wonder where Brian Kelly gonna stay at the beignet spot? Like, where his house at?
He might get a nice house.
Not
somewhere.
$6 million.
Well, not $6 million,
$6 million.
but you know.
Bro, I would have told
That's
him.
one of those moments you gotta ask, like, what does Country Boy know to get him $6 million house?
I would have told him to get out. Like, the fact is, like, oh, what's gonna take you to get here? You gotta buy both my houses over $500K, so I get $1 million from that, and you gotta buy me a $6 million house. I would have told him to leave.
UCLA is out for Chip Kelly a bungalow. It's like, you want to escape from the embarrassment of being in the NFL? Come on down here, man. We know you can't get back to Oregon, but we'll get you close enough.
It's crazy too, because Lincoln Riley had that nice home, that nice honeymoon phase that first couple of years. But if that defense starts being food like Oklahoma, they're gonna be like, hey, we ain't paying for your house like this no more.
Shit, I don't even know if that team's good now.
They're not. They're 4-7 this year.
Yeah. He really left a 10-2 job to go to a 4-7 job. That is.
Well, he thinks he's gonna run the Pac-12 for the next 10 years.
He did it for the amenities, guys. Like, he did it for the amenities. Oklahoma wasn't going to pay this man $110 million.
Yeah.
They were going to buy him a $6 million minimum house. They sure as hell wasn't giving him and his family access to the private jet. Like, shit, how many years is this contract?
I think 9 to 10.
Shit, for 10 years, you could be mediocre, still live the life.
The thing is, too, I think most of it's guaranteed money.
Damn, he got that damn Phil Jackson contract.
I need the official contract out, because if it's worse, man, we might have to take a hiatus. We might have to go to Norm and be like, Lincoln, let me get on that jet. Let me have the real interview.
Man, that's when we gotta find some youngins. Like, you got daughters, get us on the jet. Like, we just want to fly it one place. I just want to go one place. It's to Brazil and back. I promise. I won't be long.
The private jet. It's crazy. This man released. Oh, let me read you his quotes before we go. It was tough, especially coming off a game like that where our guys battled and played their hearts out. So much love for that team, those kids. ... I was thankful I got a chance to do it in person, Riley said before turning his attention to his new job, USC. The history and tradition is one of the greatest college football programs of all time. The city, the mecca of sports, right here in Los Angeles. You could feel the energy and passion. You could feel these people are serious about doing anything and everything possible. Lincoln Riley was 55-10 in his 5 years as a coach at Oklahoma. 55-10. He said, I'm leaving. Because they didn't offer him that money. Just like those people who are saying Ryan Day shouldn't get. See, that's what you don't want that to happen to us. Ryan Day just took the whole.
My man said it was hard leaving them boys, but this money is calling my name. My man talking about the people in LA really are serious about sports. Yeah, they used to kill niggas out there. If you a bad coach, you fucking up the squad. You go. And you better watch some of these movies. You better watch Straight Outta Compton. You better talk to Al when the Raiders went boo-boo. You better talk to some of these people.
Guys, anything else before we end this podcast?
I don't have nothing. I mean, like I said, Michigan, if you want to be the top dog in the Big Ten, go win that Big Ten championship and then go to the playoffs. Show us something.
Nothing. I ain't gonna talk shit. Y'all niggas won. Good game. Well, y'all ain't gotta win shit now. Because I know no matter what, they lose. Every Michigan fan, well, at least we still beat Ohio State.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, all I gotta say is what I said earlier. Y'all want to know what OSU losing to Michigan pain is like again? Here you go. How they denied us of everything. I mean, we denied ourselves too while being soft as cookie cutter, Carmen, Charmin, anything that's soft. Our line was that.
I was like, cookie cutters. I was like, okay, the toilet paper. I was like, hold on.
Anything that's soft, that's what we were. And now we got 300 something days to play them again. And you thought Ryan Day was focused to get revenge on Clemson? Y'all gonna see something next year.
All our receivers coming back? Well, I know one of them probably not.
We got Njigba coming back for sure.
For sure.
Marvin Harrison Jr. son's finally gonna get some playing time.
Mm-hmm.
And that Williams kid from Alabama come back? We got a spot for him.
He left here. Yeah, see now. He left here because he couldn't get on the field. He goes to Alabama, and now he's regarded as one of the top 3 receivers. Get the hell out of here. That's just because he had the Alabama on his chest. Scrub ass. But
yeah, I ain't gonna cap. That nigga can play.
Oh, he can play, but it's the fact he left here because he wasn't getting playing time.
Hey, he's the only one who did it better than Tate Martell. Tate Martell left and ain't getting no tick.
Oh, yeah, we got it. No, we brought it. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the L7C podcast. Y'all take care. We'll be back to talk about the Final Four rankings in the next coming days. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.